Good morning, Nerdfighteria. Today I have braved the heat of a North Carolinian summer to show you this tree, a dawn redwood. You can tell it's a dawn redwood because of its reddish bark, which peels away in thin strips, these small little cones that it produces, its opposite leaves, so as you can see here, each leaf has one directly opposite of it, and also because despite being a conifer, it's deciduous, meaning it loses its leaves in the fall. I don't have a picture of this, so you're just gonna have to trust me on it. So the dawn redwood, Metasequoia glyptus stroboides, has quite an interesting story. It's one of 3 surviving species of redwood, the other 2 of which are the coast redwood and the giant sequoia. The genus that this tree belongs to, Metasequoia, was first described in 1941 from fossils. It appears in the late Cretaceous, which is when the non-avian dinosaurs were still around. And it's well known in the fossil record until it disappears in the Miocene, a geologic epoch that ended about 5 million years ago. So because these fossils disappear in the Miocene, when this genus was first described, it was thought to have gone extinct back then. So now you're probably going, wait, Leah, if this tree has been extinct for 5 million years, how do you have one in your backyard? So don't worry, it's not like a Jurassic Park type scenario. It's because the dawn redwood is an example of what's called a Lazarus taxon. A Lazarus taxon is a species or group of organisms which was thought to have gone extinct, but reappears later on in the fossil record. The most famous example of this is probably the coelacanth. So like I said, Metasequoia was first described in 1941 and thought to be extinct. But in 1944, a small stand of trees was discovered in China, and in 1948, those trees were identified as a living species of Metasequoia. Today, dawn redwoods are quite rare in the wild, but they've become kind of common as ornamental trees because they grow very quickly and do well in a variety of soils. That explains why I have one in my backyard. Basically, this tree you see behind me is a living fossil. Dawn redwoods are also really cool because they haven't changed much since they first appeared in the Cretaceous. This tree is practically identical to trees that dinosaurs would have seen. This is really useful for paleontologists who can use it to study how plants fossilize and how we can accurately interpret fossil evidence. Part of the reason I'm showing you this tree is because I only recently learned what it actually was. As a paleontology nerd, I've known about Metasequoia for a while, and I always thought, wow, that's such a super cool tree, I'd love to see one someday, not realizing that I had one outside my window for 18 years. So this is a good lesson to me, and hopefully to you, to pay more attention to the plants around us. You might have heard of this term called plant blindness, which describes the phenomenon of humans kind of just ignoring plants and taking them for granted in our environments. So in an attempt to combat plant blindness, I'm challenging you watching this to go out and identify a plant today. It can be literally any plant, a house plant that you just never bothered to find the name of, a flower in your garden, a bush you walk by every day, or if you're like me, a tree in your backyard. I recommend using the iNaturalist app, which is a really cool app where you can upload photos of things you see and it'll help you identify them. You can even participate in citizen science projects through it. I'll put some more information in the description if you're interested in checking it out. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed learning about this awesome tree and that you'll go out and appreciate some plants today. DFTBA. So like I said, today, dawn redwoods are quite rare in the wild, but